Have you ever walked into a room and felt an immediate shift, a sudden silence that wasn't merely auditory, but psychological? You sense eyes flickering toward you, then quickly away, and conversations pause momentarily. Your presence seems to linger heavily in the air, creating ripples you don't fully understand. Perhaps you've wondered, late at night, why people keep their distance despite your attempts to reach out. You've replayed conversations, analyzed your words and gestures, finding nothing obviously wrong. Yet a strange barrier persists, something intangible but ever-present, as if invisible forces conspire to keep genuine connections just beyond your grasp. Carl Jung once described our interactions as dances of shadows and personas, intricate plays between who we think we are, who others see us as, and the hidden truths we unconsciously carry. Your aura, your psychological presence, radiates a reality others may prefer left buried. You don't realize it, but your silent strength echoes through their carefully constructed self-images, tearing subtle holes in masks they've spent years perfecting. And here's the intriguing paradox. You may not feel particularly powerful. You might even consider yourself ordinary, merely thoughtful or introspective. Yet beneath your modest self-assessment lies a profound depth of perception and authenticity that inadvertently shakes the comfortable illusions of those around you. Consider this scenario. You're sitting quietly at a gathering, lost in thought, observing the interplay of conversation around you. Without uttering a single word, your presence fills the space like a heavy silence, prompting others to nervously fill gaps with trivial chatter, jokes, or small talk. You've said nothing provocative, yet they glance toward you anxiously, as if waiting for judgment or insight you never intended to deliver. Your friends often seem cautious, slightly restrained, always careful not to reveal too much, as though they're afraid you'll see through them completely. At work, your peers respect you but keep their emotional distance, uneasy in the presence of your unspoken insights. Even family members sometimes avoid deep conversations, tiptoeing around meaningful subjects, unsure how your quiet yet incisive perspective will unsettle their comfortable routines. Your aura isn't something visible in conventional terms. It doesn't glow or shimmer, but its psychological resonance is undeniable, felt viscerally by those who cross your path. It announces your presence before you speak, creating ripples of uncertainty, curiosity, even intimidation. And until you acknowledge and understand this hidden influence, you'll continue feeling inexplicably isolated. But consider another angle. Maybe this isolation isn't punishment or misfortune. Maybe it's an invitation, an opportunity to dive deeper into self-understanding, to harness your psychological intensity constructively. Carl Jung teaches us that embracing these hidden strengths transforms alienation into influence, discomfort into connection, misunderstanding into profound impact. The question isn't whether your aura scares others. It undeniably does at times. The real question is, what will you do with this powerful yet misunderstood gift? Will you shrink away from it, allowing others' reactions to define your self-worth? Or will you lean into it, discovering the extraordinary potential lying within your misunderstood strength? Your aura may scare people without your knowledge, but now that you're becoming aware, the choice of how to wield that power becomes entirely yours. There exists within each person a hidden realm, a shadowy territory that Carl Jung described as the shadow. It's the place where we store all aspects of ourselves we refuse to acknowledge, characteristics we find unsettling, uncomfortable, or incompatible with the self-image we've meticulously constructed. Everyone carries this unseen shadow, silently guiding their behavior and coloring their perceptions. Yet most people will spend their entire lives unaware of its existence, comfortably numb within their illusions. But you, whether intentionally or not, have a tendency to illuminate this shadowy world in others. Your natural inclination toward introspection, your quiet intensity, and your thoughtful insights gently peel back the masks people wear, revealing hidden layers they'd rather keep buried beneath polite smiles and rehearsed conversations. Without realizing it, your mere presence becomes a catalyst for unsettling self-reflection, inadvertently exposing truths people desperately try to avoid. Consider sitting with a friend, casually discussing life over coffee. As you listen deeply and respond thoughtfully, you unwittingly challenge the superficial narrative they've crafted. Your genuine questions, your empathetic silence, your unwavering eye contact, they pierce through practiced defenses, forcing your friend to confront suppressed anxieties and insecurities. You've not judged or criticized, you've simply seen too deeply, listened too sincerely. Yet your friend may leave feeling oddly unsettled, as though an intimate part of their identity had been exposed without their consent. Jung taught that we project our shadows onto others. Those around you, encountering your psychological depth, may feel an unexplainable discomfort, projecting onto you their internal fears, doubts, and unresolved conflicts. You become a living symbol of their denied truths, a mirror reflecting back their suppressed insecurities and hidden vulnerabilities. Without intending harm, you force them to see aspects of themselves they aren't ready to embrace, triggering anxiety, discomfort, even subtle resentment. Yet this isn't a curse, it's a remarkable power. Your aura isn't negative or flawed, it simply radiates profound self-awareness and authenticity. Your ability to reflect others' shadows back to them is an invaluable psychological gift. By understanding this, you transform feelings of alienation into compassion. Realize that when others withdraw or seem hesitant, it's rarely about personal rejection. Instead, it's often a subconscious reaction to their confrontation with inner truths they've long avoided. Carl Jung provides insight into this curious dynamic. He proposed that introspection and stillness act as psychological mirrors, reflecting hidden insecurities, unresolved conflicts, and vulnerabilities people desperately try to ignore. When you remain silent, you inadvertently create a space, an echoing emptiness that demands truth. To others, your quiet becomes unbearably loud, a silent accusation of the superficiality and avoidance present in most human interactions. Imagine this scenario. You're in a meeting at work, discussions swirling around superficialities, meaningless chatter filling every moment. You sit quietly, observing. Your lack of participation isn't due to indifference, but because you naturally seek meaning over noise. Yet colleagues might misinterpret your silence as judgment, perceiving in it a hidden criticism or superior understanding that makes them uncomfortable. Unconsciously, they project their own doubts onto your quiet demeanor, convinced you're seeing through their facade, aware of inadequacies they themselves barely recognize. In social gatherings, your quiet contemplation evokes nervousness among acquaintances. Friends chatter nervously to fill perceived awkwardness, often misreading your introspection as boredom or even disdain. Family members sometimes prod you to speak, uncomfortable with the emotional honesty your silence commands. Without saying a word, you've revealed more about them than they're prepared to acknowledge. But silence is not weakness, it's strength. The power of your aura lies precisely in your comfort with quietness and reflection, traits that society often undervalues, fearing vulnerability and authenticity. Recognizing this, you can begin to harness silence consciously. Carl Jung called this phenomenon individuation, the courageous journey toward becoming fully oneself, free from the invisible strings of societal expectation. According to Jung, individuation isn't mere rebellion or arrogance. It's an essential psychological evolution, an act of genuine self-actualization. Yet in a world that thrives on conformity and validation through likes, followers, and approval, true independence is often misinterpreted as defiance, arrogance, or even hostility. Picture yourself at work, a team brainstorming session buzzing with enthusiastic yet shallow agreement. When a questionable idea arises, everyone nods vigorously, except you. Calmly, thoughtfully, you voice your honest doubts, respectfully challenging the collective consensus. The room suddenly quiets. Your colleagues shift nervously. They feel threatened. Not because you are wrong, but precisely because your willingness to stand alone highlights their fear of isolation and rejection. Social gatherings follow a similar pattern. Friends eagerly follow trends, echoing the same opinions, afraid to risk alienation by standing apart. But there you are, comfortable in your uniqueness, quietly refusing to perform for approval. You may find yourself subtly excluded, left out of superficial chatter. They label your quiet strength as arrogance, misunderstanding your emotional autonomy as a judgment against their insecurity. Yet your independence is far more significant than mere isolation. It is a beacon, a subtle but persistent challenge to a culture addicted to conformity. By courageously living your truth, you implicitly give others permission to explore their own authenticity. You become an uncomfortable yet powerful mirror reflecting the possibilities they fear to acknowledge. Possibilities of self-trust, emotional sovereignty, and genuine freedom. Instead of seeing your independence as a flaw, recognize it as your greatest asset. Your quiet rebellion is exactly what society needs. A gentle yet uncompromising reminder that authentic self-expression is possible, desirable, and necessary. Those who initially shrink from you, intimidated by your emotional strength, are often those most in need of your example. In embracing your psychological independence, you pave the path not only for your own growth, but for the transformation of everyone whose lives you silently touch. There's something undeniably compelling and unsettling about people who live life with unapologetic emotional intensity. Perhaps you've noticed it yourself. When you laugh, it's from the depths of your being. When you grieve, your sorrow is raw and sincere. Your passion burns brightly, visible and vulnerable. Yet despite your genuine expression, you often sense discomfort from those around you. People seem cautious, slightly withdrawn, as if standing too close might set them ablaze in your emotional fire. This intense sincerity is rare in a world that praises composure, detachment, and emotional numbness. Society conditions us to believe that openly displaying deep emotions signals weakness or instability. Your honesty, therefore, shatters the careful facades others construct to appear strong, rational, and unaffected. Your intensity silently challenges their emotional comfort zones, revealing feelings they desperately suppress. It's not your fault, yet your authenticity often leaves others feeling exposed, vulnerable, and alarmingly seen. Consider a friend who jokes casually about their insecurities, laughing them away in a practiced performance. You, however, sense their hidden pain, offering sincere empathy rather than superficial humor. In that moment, your genuine compassion breaks through their mask, forcing them to confront emotions they've long avoided. Unintentionally, you've held a mirror to their internal struggles, making them feel uncomfortably transparent. It wasn't your intention, yet your authenticity and depth stripped away their protective barrier, making you both a comfort and a threat. And then there is authenticity itself, a quality increasingly rare and consequently increasingly feared. Authenticity means aligning your inner truths with your outward expressions, speaking honestly, living transparently, and refusing to partake in deception for social convenience. But this sincerity can be intimidating. Others often interpret genuine honesty as harshness, directness as aggression. In their eyes, your refusal to play social games makes you unpredictable and uncontrollable. A rogue element who might expose inconvenient truths at any moment. Imagine being at a gathering, listening politely as friends exchange compliments and carefully choreographed pleasantries. When asked your opinion, you respond honestly, clearly, without malice or exaggeration. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts. Your straightforward truth clashes with their carefully maintained illusions. They recoil, uncomfortable not because you were rude, but because your authenticity exposes their hypocrisies. They feel vulnerable, their facades momentarily shattered by your quiet courage to remain real. And finally, there's your mystery, the quiet, reserved nature that others find simultaneously fascinating and frightening. You don't reveal everything at once, keeping pieces of yourself hidden, not as manipulation, but because genuine connection takes time and trust. Yet your natural reserve makes others anxious, uncertain of your motives, suspicious of your silence. They wonder what secrets you keep, projecting fears and assumptions into your silence. Your mysterious nature challenges modern society's obsession with oversharing, constant self-promotion, and endless validation. In a world oversaturated with personal details, your privacy stands defiantly against the norm. Without meaning to, you become an enigma, an unanswered question compelling others to confront their insecurities and assumptions. They fear what they cannot immediately understand, anxious about the unknown depths behind your quiet demeanor. But your mystery is not something to be discarded or diminished. It's a profound psychological asset. By allowing your story to unfold slowly, by honoring the sacredness of privacy, you teach others the value of patience, depth, and genuine intimacy. Those who fear your mystery are often those who have yet to embrace their own complexity, who remain afraid of truly knowing themselves. Together, these three traits, your emotional intensity, your unwavering authenticity, your compelling mystery, form a powerful psychological combination. They challenge, provoke, and disturb those around you, not because you are flawed, but precisely because you represent what they fear most: truth, sincerity, and genuine emotional freedom. Recognize these traits not as burdens, but as remarkable strengths. Embrace them fully, knowing that your very presence silently invites others toward greater courage, deeper self-awareness, and ultimately, authentic connection. Without even realizing it, you possess a subtle yet powerful gift. You reflect hidden truths back to those around you. Your mere presence often acts like a clear, unyielding mirror, forcing others to see parts of themselves they've spent lifetimes ignoring or suppressing. This invisible reflection isn't deliberate or aggressive. It emerges naturally from your own deep inner awareness, sincerity, and psychological depth. But while you might consider this a valuable asset, others often react with unease or even fear, because facing truths hidden within themselves can feel incredibly threatening. At work, colleagues might inexplicably feel defensive or competitive around you, despite your supportive nature. Your confidence, integrity, and quiet insight unintentionally highlight their own insecurities or ethical compromises. Without saying a word, your authenticity forces them to reconsider decisions, motivations, or hidden agendas they prefer to keep concealed, even from themselves. Their discomfort isn't directed toward your character, but toward the unsettling reflection you unknowingly present, challenging their self-perception and identity. Even within family dynamics, you might have felt inexplicable tension or emotional avoidance. Perhaps family members subtly criticize your choices, labeling your independence or authenticity as arrogance. But beneath their criticisms lies deeper fear. Fear of confronting their own unrealized dreams, unmet potentials, and compromises made for social acceptance. Your courage to live openly, truthfully, and deeply stands as an uncomfortable reminder of the sacrifices they've made to conform. Yet while reflecting these hidden truths can be isolating or painful, it also presents a profound opportunity for growth and healing, both for you and those you encounter. Jung himself believed that acknowledging and integrating our shadows, the parts of ourselves we deny or suppress, is essential to psychological wholeness and personal liberation. By gently but consistently reflecting truth, you offer others the chance to begin this difficult yet transformative journey toward genuine self-awareness. Embrace this unique gift. Realize your capacity to illuminate the hidden, uncomfortable realities within others is not a flaw, but a profound strength. While initially uncomfortable, these reflections can ultimately lead to deeper authenticity, emotional resilience, and genuine psychological awakening. Your presence, quietly powerful and deeply reflective, has the potential to change lives, not by force, but simply through the courage to remain authentically yourself. Your aura, the intangible yet undeniable presence you've carried your entire life, is more than simply a source of mystery or misunderstanding. Throughout this exploration, you've come to recognize it as something profoundly deeper. A psychological force that can both isolate and connect, repel and attract. The insights of Carl Jung remind us that self-awareness is not merely recognizing our traits, but fully embracing their power, learning to channel them with intention and wisdom. For a long time, you've probably viewed your intensity, authenticity, or introspective silence as social hindrances, features that alienate you from friends, colleagues, even loved ones. Yet within these very traits lies immense potential: the ability to inspire honesty, the strength to encourage genuine reflection, and the courage to dismantle societal facades. Your powerful aura holds the subtle ability to gently challenge others, pushing them to confront truths they've long ignored, ultimately guiding them toward authentic self-discovery. But to truly harness your aura's transformative power, you must first accept it fully, without reservation or fear. Understand clearly that your psychological depth is not something to suppress or dilute. Rather, it's your greatest asset, a beacon of genuine connection in an increasingly superficial world. By acknowledging your true self, unapologetically and courageously, you grant permission to those around you to do the same. Imagine how your relationships would change if you consciously embraced your aura's influence. Rather than shrinking from your intensity or masking your honesty, envision yourself confidently stepping forward, fully aware of your impact. Picture your presence inspiring genuine conversations, creating spaces where friends and strangers alike feel safe enough to explore their vulnerabilities openly, honestly, without fear. See clearly how your authenticity naturally invites others to drop their masks, allowing them to finally discover themselves in ways they never previously imagined. Carl Jung believed deeply in the transformative power of self-awareness, the revolutionary act of knowing oneself, confronting one's shadow, and integrating every part of your identity. In doing so, you don't merely heal yourself. You create ripples of authenticity, compassion, and understanding throughout society. You embody a quiet yet powerful rebellion against conformity, superficiality, and self-deception, reshaping relationships, communities, and even cultures. Ultimately, your aura is not a burden to bear, but a profound responsibility and an extraordinary gift. Embrace this power with compassion, empathy, and fearless authenticity. Recognize fully that what initially seemed isolating is, in truth, the source of your greatest strength and potential influence. So from this moment forward, step boldly into your truth. Harness your aura constructively, consciously, compassionately, transforming isolation into connection, silence into strength, and mystery into profound understanding. Let your psychological awareness shine brightly, guiding yourself and others toward genuine awakening, authenticity, and profound self-acceptance.